Hello, John Sherman, Creative Director at VC Productions. A-roll and B-roll, what's the difference? Let's talk about it. Okay, so for as long as we've been doing video production, there's been this disconnect in terms of the terminology, right? We all have our names for things, sticks and A-roll and B-roll and stingers. It's just really silly ways for us to feel like we're cool because we make videos and we want to feel cool. But if you're a content creator or someone that's about to step into this space, I think it's really important to understand the difference between A-roll and B-roll and how that's going to potentially impact your production. So this is an example of A-roll. This is A-roll. This is A-roll. This is A-roll. A-roll is anytime you see the person who's delivering content on camera. So right now, seeing me talking to you in this video, this is A-roll. Let's say I was talking about my iPhone. If I was to cut to a close-up shot of the iPhone, this is now B-roll. This is a detail shot that supports the narrative that you hear in the A-roll. So why should you care about the difference between A-roll and B-roll? How is that going to impact your production if you're going to start creating content for your business or nonprofit? Well, first, I think you need to know the time investment and the learning curve around A-roll versus B-roll, because that may change the way you film things. So for example, this being A-roll, talking head video, it's a little bit more work up front to set up, but once it's set, it's scalable, meaning I've got my lights in place, I've got my camera where I want it, I figured out the sound, I figured out my staging and my background, and now it's set. Every time I sit in front of this set, all I have to do is change my shirt out and I can keep creating new content consistently. No big issue there. I really like this, and this is really one of the biggest things we're doing as part of our remote director and remote producer service, because it's very easy to get even the most technologically unsavvy person up and running pretty quickly, because once the lights are in place and you're guided to set them up, you're good to go. When you're filming B-roll, there's so many different variables you have to deal with for every single shot you get that it becomes a little bit more difficult to just train somebody on how to do that, and experience starts to play a bigger role. Imagine you were going out and you were filming a video of a house. You're walking into each of the spaces to get a shot of each of the rooms. Every single room and every spot of every single room has different lighting conditions, different color conditions, different angles that you would have to frame up different types of shots, right? All of those variables start compounding. Let's go outside, right? You've got sunlight and shadows. Do I get a close-up and a wide shot? How many different angles do I get in order to cut things together nicely for my narrative? I haven't even started talking about implements I need to use to stabilize my cameras. Am I doing moving shots? Am I doing walk-in talks? Am I getting drone footage, right? What are the settings for that? So it becomes infinitely more complex to get B-roll, even though the setup time is just literally, in some cases, you just hold your phone, point and shoot, right? So that's where we sort of have differentiated to remote producer. In remote producer, it's a service that's more monthly and ongoing. We're working with clients on a continual basis to train them and bring them up to speed and help them get that content going. So for example, let's look at our friend and client, Roman Scharf, who's a luxury watch and jewelry vlogger. He has his framed setup for his studio shoots, which are his Q&A Tuesdays and his What's on My Desk, where he talks about different things. And those are things that he completely is automated and executes in-house. He shoots the videos in-house, he has an in-house editor who can cut them, and they go out to the world, right? We do consult a little bit on the content for those pieces, but for the most part, he's completely self-sufficient in that, and there's really not much to it. Now he does a vlog where he travels to Hong Kong. Well, not right now, because nobody's traveling anywhere right now, but in general, he does these travel vlogs. This is where it gets infinitely more complicated. He's got a whole bag of equipment that he brings. We've trained him on cameras, gotten custom microphones that make sense for his application, different lenses that he uses, right? It's been this ongoing process of tweaking and adjusting and training. So all of those pieces really differentiate the setup in an A-roll environment and the setup for B-roll continuing content, if that makes sense. Okay, so to sum everything up, A-roll, scalable, but requires a little bit more of an investment upfront to set it up. B-roll, more of a learning curve and an ongoing learning process. What really defines which you should use and when and how much of what depends on the content you're creating, depends on your channel, and depends on your audience, right? I think that's something that's on a case-by-case basis. Maybe we'll do a video about that someday. Guys, if you like this video, please like, share it, subscribe, comment below if you have questions on differentiating between between different kinds of shots. We'd be happy to see that and answer those questions. Of course, visit videocityinc.com anytime for free resources in our learning center, like videos like this, or our shopping guides for equipment you can buy right now to help elevate your game. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see ya.